Ayman Khan here for Seconds Out with a proper mic and camera for Eddie Hearn. Eddie, good to see a double-header press conference. What can we expect to see, first of all, from Ben Whittaker, who's in ahead of his Matchroom debut?
Yeah, I mean, really what we keep talking about, all the hype. We need a great performance. I think this guy is a good fighter. He hasn't lost in 19 fights. I know a lot of people from Germany have been phoning me saying, look, he can really fight. We feel like this is a real fight, and it should be. It's for the WBC silver title. Ben's had just 10 fights, but there's a lot of people talking about him right now, and, you can't go with a hype without producing. Last time out, he was sensational, and we hope he can be sensational on Saturday night.
Can you bust a myth for me? I was listening to Steve Bunce and Ben Shalom on the BBC interview ahead of their fight week, and they were saying essentially that the reason why Ben Whittaker didn't continue on with boxers because BBC wanted certain fighters, and essentially alluding to, without quite directly saying, that Ben Whittaker wasn't part of BBC's plans. What do you know about that?
That's probably the funniest thing I've ever heard. Ben Whittaker was the biggest star in boxers' stable. Everyone, unless you're an absolute moron, you know that. I actually received a tender from the BBC because it came to our production company, the public tender, where it told you the plan of basically what the BBC are doing with boxer in boxing. And right at the top of the list was Ben Whittaker, and he was the star of the deal. So, yeah, I think anyone with half a brain knows that Ben Whittaker was the biggest star, and we're delighted to bring him to the stable because I think that he's different. People talking here, do you think he's like Naz? Naz was a world-class fighter, which I believe Ben can get to, but it's the same kind of thing of opinion is divided. Some love him, some don't like him. The reality is Ben's a great young man. He's a man of faith, he's an extremely hard worker, and he's an outstanding talent. But some tune in to watch him get beat. Some tune in, wait till you see the ring walk on Saturday. He's special. This kid is a showman, and he's a phenomenal talent.
In terms of the talent, what about domestically? A lot of people want to see those domestic fights, the likes of Boatsi, Aziz, Hutchinson. Do you go that route, or do you go a different route with Ben?
Yeah, I think we have to go that route because they're the blockbuster fights in this country. But Ben's had 10 fights. You talk about Boatsi, you talk about Willie Hutchinson, you talk about, Zach Parker, Craig Ritt. All these guys have had dozens of fights. So we will get there, and we're very close to a lot of the names that I just mentioned there. But this is about, winning this WBC silver title, getting in that top 5 position in the world, and start moving through the gears.
Vong and Gwyn, your expectation for that fight? You felt that Gwyn won the first one. What does Vong have to do to turn it around?
It's always difficult, isn't it? Because, you get in the ring after the fight, and you got your fighter, and you're asked, who do you think won that fight? And I have to be honest, when I watched it live, I thought Gavin Gwyn edged the fight. When I watched it back, I thought I would have possibly given it to Vong, or it was a draw. So it's one of those fights. But I can't lie to you at the same time. I always have my guys' backs. But, I said to Sam Jones, we have to rematch Gavin Gwyn. And they felt like they took the fight, because they pushed for that fight, a little bit too early. And what was it, his 7th fight at the time? It was. Gavin Gwyn's a right handful. Now he's had the Jordan Flynn fight, he's had one more. Now is his opportunity to make a statement in that fight. It's not going to be easy. Gwyn's in the shape of his life. He's a tough man. But we believe Cameron Vong's a special young talent. Now, like Ben Whittaker, you've got to go out and show it on Saturday.
Warrington, why did it take so long?
Ego, controversy. He said this, he said this, he said that. Money. It's a year too late, but it doesn't really matter because we got it. But I would have liked to see it happen a year ago when it should have happened. But now we get, it's called last man standing. And it really should be called shit or bust. Because both should acknowledge when we go up there in a minute that this is the loser is done. You've got 2 kind of modern day British greats, if you like, 2 world champions that have been consistently filling arenas. The first fight was epic. Josh was bashing Leigh up, and Leigh come from behind and forced a stoppage. Some say it should have been stopped, some say it shouldn't have been stopped, but he was hurt. And now we get it again. And the atmosphere is going to be unbelievable. We've got an unbelievable undercard, which we'll be announcing on Saturday as well. And I'm pleased that we get a real old school British classic once again.
Can you dispel a rumour that the Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua fight is just for showing the fight isn't going to go ahead? A lot of people kind of feel that that's the...
I hope not. If it is, then we don't know about it because we've signed a contract and we're deep in camp. One thing I know is Netflix have spent a fortune on the promotion, the production, the press conferences. So, yeah, I have no doubts it'll go ahead. It'll be a very strange bluff. But I think one of the problems with that is people are just like, surely not. You know, as the fight gets closer, more and more people are just thinking, is he really going to do this? And he'll look stupid if he doesn't now. And he's going to do it because, say, Roy Jones come out yesterday going, yeah, I think he can win. I mean, this wasn't a Tyson Fury line. This was Roy Jones actually being serious. And those kind of comments in Jake Paul's mind, that he believes he can beat Anthony Joshua. So we're going to find out December 19th.
Is there a rematch clause?
No.
Was there anyone try to place in a rematch clause?
Mm-mm.
What about in terms of your involvement in the promotion? Are you going to be there in the fight week at all?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't at the presser because I was in Riyadh. We're exclusive to DAZN. You know, we were promoting that fight there. We had Bam Rodriguez. So, yeah, I'll be there 100% for the whole fight week. I'll be with him. I'll be in his corner. I'll be around at the press conference, away him. But, you know, I'm not the promoter of the event. We got made an offer and we accepted.
Talk about Anthony Joshua and where he is, him and his character. He seemed jovial, but he also said directly that he was going to break Jake Paul's face. What do you make of those comments from Joshua, who sometimes has been a little bit more polite with his comments in the past?
Well, he always wants to break people's faces. He's a heavyweight. I mean, that's his job. And it's no different going into this fight. Like we're not looking at this fight as like, you know, just an easy night's work. He's training as if it was a real world championship fight. Hopefully, it's as easy as I think it's going to be. But he wouldn't, you know, he'd always respect himself enough to go in there and prepare properly. It's a much shorter camp and he's got to make weight as well. So there's a few differences, but he's switched on and he's excited. He's excited.
Zoning on the what ifs. What if we wake up on the night after and Anthony Joshua is somehow on the end of a defeat? What does that mean for him?
Sport, isn't it? Tough luck. Got beat. Disaster. Absolute disaster. I mean, you know, when you talk about legacy, people say, oh, does this affect his legacy? Not at all. If you get beat, does it affect your legacy? That's another question altogether. So, yeah, we've got to make sure it doesn't happen and go in there and just serve him up.
Joshua also said he felt he didn't get the credit from Helwani or the British media. Do you feel the same way, that Joshua might not get the credit for, or does he deserve credit for a Jake Paul fight?
You come to the point, really, where you spend your whole life maybe searching for the credit and realise that maybe one day it will never come. So fuck everybody, take the money and be happy.
One thing said, what can you say about Dalton Smith and Subriel Matias? Matias says the fight's going ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you know, for us, obviously, when we received the notification that Subriel Matias has failed a drugs test, we just presumed that the fight would be off. There is a discrepancy in the fact that the New York State Athletic Commission allow 0.1 level of what's the substance? Ostarine. And WADA say, no, 0, like it's a man-made substance. You can't have that level in you. So, again, we've been here a million times. It's down to the commission, and the commission will rule accordingly. We hope they hurry up because the fight's due to be January 10th. We're in training waiting for news.
Appreciate it.